I kind of wanted to showcase our assigned volunteer genealogists. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm so thrilled to have Clay and Jennifer here. They are both assigned volunteer genealogists. And Clay was our second one. Our very first one was Donna Eisen, and she's going to be at the Saturday morning meeting talking about her experiences. Then there was Clay, and then there's Eileen Cantrell, and both of those girls live on the other side of the state. They live along the coast. And then Jennifer is our newest one. And so I've asked them all to come to these meetings and kind of share a little bit about their experiences so that down the road or even right now, if there's anybody that's interested, number one, in doing what these ladies do, they could let me know. Because a lot of times we're afraid of something because we don't know what it really means. Number two, if we are a registrar or we know other registrars, and we all make friends throughout chapters, um, that is in trouble, or a chapter that's in trouble. This is an option for them as far as this kind of trouble, the research. And I'm going to go ahead and say that for Clay, the chapter that she's assigned to, and again, to be an assigned volunteer genealogist, you are assigned not in your chapter. That doesn't count. You are assigned to a different chapter. And Clay got assigned to a chapter whose registrar is working a full-time job. He's got two young boys at home. They're not that young anymore. Now they're getting to be like 11 and 12 years old. So that's a different stage of life where she's going crazy, and just kind of wasn't able to keep up with the demands of being a registrar. So Clay is kind of like the invisible registrar for this chapter. And so, Clay, do you want to tell us a little bit about? I know you've had some challenges, but I'd like to hear kind of what you think the job entails in that situation that you're serving.
Well, I'm starting to make some progress. I've got the one that got finished, and I think you sent it. I'm happy with that. I've got one. There's always one generation that is almost impossible. I just found some new documents to look at, and I haven't had a chance to look at them and see if they're going to help me, but I'll be excited.
So this is a chapter that, like I just said, you are kind of the invisible registrar for.
Mhm.
How, let me word this, see if I can word this right. Are you comfortable with the amount of work that you are getting in this role? Is it too much? Is it too little for what you would like?
Um, no, I don't have a problem with, the workload or anything. It's just kind of slow. Like I say, like you said earlier, the other end of my workload is they're very busy people, and uh,
Do you think that not by not being a part of the chapter that it's harder to communicate with them?
I don't get that feeling. I feel like they really appreciate what I'm doing. I just I've been told that there's been some hardships among many of the people that I need to communicate with, and sometimes you just have to sit and be patient.
Would you wish that there was more research to do, or is this kind of feed? Because I know you're still working really hard for the Trenton chapter also. And that's why I'm asking, are you feeling balanced in what you're doing?
I like being real busy.
I know you do. Yeah. So you're saying you could bring on more if it was given to you.
um, yeah, I mean, something. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm supposed to have 20 coming in on this, but they're not. I don't have the information on anybody new yet.
Okay.
I spoke with the regent recently, and she was going to send me some stuff, and um, I don't have that yet, but I'm going to have to assume it's coming.
What do you like most about it?
Doing the research.
She's she's a fool for the research, guys. I mean, I think all of us are.
Well, it's I really the best part is when it's really hard and you find the golden document. That's what's really good.
I'm actually working on a situation. I don't even know if you call it what hat I'm wearing. It's, what it is I'm helping another chapter who they've had two different rounds of AIRs on this lady, and they
Oh,
just cannot seem to get it together. And so they're like, Susan, would you mind? I'm like, right now is the perfect time for me to dig in. And what I'm finding is that Family Tree and Ancestry and WikiTree, I don't agree with what their lineages. So I'm happy to go, breaststroke through new waters. And yeah, you're right, Clay, at that point where it's like, doing timelines and saying, wait a minute, okay, her name was this, and then it was this. And then, so both her and her mother, if they remarried because their first husbands died, they took their middle name for their first or used name. But you can see it when you put it in a timeline. It's just this immediate shift. And you start looking at the other people surrounding them, and you got it. But it's not what anybody's trees show. So that is
one one tool
validating.
one tool that I use is every document that I look at, I write down all the information in it. For one thing, it helps me to remember the people. And, like census records, I write down the entire census record of every document in a lineage. And then I compare the birth dates and other things. And one thing I look for is the length of time between the children.
Hmm.
And you always got the, this 1850, they've got full names. 1860, I'm not sure if it's the right one. They got initials. 70, they got their middle name. And and then you get a nickname for the next one. So,
Well,
but
and I
that's
think you're
that's just the part of the research.
no, but you're absolutely right. With Ancestry, I know myself, it's so easy to just do the link to link to link without picking up any of the siblings or the family structure that is in each of these homes that you see in the census, and then following a little bit more of that. And sometimes we could do it. Sometimes we zoom right to the Patriot, and that's great. But
Yeah, but
without,
don't forget those siblings. Those siblings are really important. That is what made Marianne Lipinski's application go, was the siblings. If it hadn't been for that, we'd have never gotten it.
it's off topic a little bit, but you brought it up. What's the Marianne Lipinski application got to do with anything? Tell
Well,
us about
I
it.
just talking about how important the siblings are when you're doing the research. Don't look
Right, but this
just
Marianne
straight in the
Lipinski
lineage.
application is going to go down in history as the mile marker. And the reason is, you guys, is that uh, it was a rough one. She's one of those United Nations babies, and I mean, you only got that one skinny branch that will ever lead you to a patriot. And got an AIR and sat down. I mean, Clay did a beautiful job with it, sat down to look at it again, and it had an analysis in that first application. Well, in order to answer the questions for the AIR, there was a desire to write another analysis, and you're not ever supposed to be able to do that. Well, Barbara Jers got involved and was able to open the door for Clay to write a second analysis. And that's, I don't know, I heard something like it's very, very, very seldom that they ever allow two
Mhm.
analyses. And on the second try, she got it in. So it was, how long was Marianne? Over a year that we were working on that one.
Oh, it's been over 2 years
Has it
that I've
really?
been working on that. Yeah.
So, all right.
But I mean, there's been a lot of downtime and I've done other things and,
Sure.
I've been just doing just Mary Ann.
Well, and we had a little bit of downtime when we were waiting to see what the results were going to be as far as submitting the application. Um, so Jennifer, oh, wait a minute, Susan.
Yeah, I had an interesting one. A lady came to our last meeting, and she a member brought her, and she said, "I have an aunt that was a DAR member,
Okay.
knows her name, she thinks she knows the chapter, but I could not find record of it. Going through the e-membership, she has no idea. She has no tree started, and she has no idea who the ancestor is." So
So,
what, well, I'll tell you what I'm doing, and I would
okay,
love some
there's two
feedback from
things.
some of the others, if that's
Okay,
okay.
yeah.
So what I've done is I sent her a pedigree blank sheet, and I said, get this started, and then I
Mhm.
will start a tree for you, a brand new tree on Ancestry, and give her, help her from a free perspective so she can contribute to that. The next thing I was going to do is how can I prove who this person is, that she says is a member? And she said it was in the newspaper, but it does not show up.
There's
Do I
two things that
contact
come to
that
my
chapter?
mind. For one thing, and this is known, like in the doc, you run across it. Um, there are times that women, just like you're talking about, will come up and say, beyond a shadow of a doubt, I know my great aunt, I know my grandmother, was a member of the DAR. They might be confused with the Daughters of the Revolution. There was an organization, I believe it went defunct in like 1972, and it was the Daughters of the Revolution, not the Daughters of the American Revolution.
Huh,
And so, yeah,
interesting.
there is that. Jennifer, have you heard anything about that?
Um, I know about it, but I don't think it was as prevalent in the South as the DAR.
That could be. I
So,
do know that
um,
the reason I asked is I think there is a website somewhere that lists the members' names, and I might be dreaming that, Susan.
For
I
the
think
Daughters
there
of
might be.
Revolution.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
Well,
think there is.
she gave me the chapter's name in New Jersey, but
Okay. So I also had another lady that came up and she knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that her grandmother was a member of the Daughters of the American Revolution. And I tried so hard, just like you're talking about, to find it, and I couldn't find it. So I was like, okay, well, let's just move on, just like you're doing. And started, going and looking in e-membership, the GRS, for the people that we needed to build it. And all of a sudden I run into this person that, is awfully closely related to her. Her, how does it go now? Her grandmother's last name was Palmer, or I think it was Palmer, but when they indexed it within the GRS, they thought it was a pregnated C and it was listed as Chomber. We found it only by ignoring its existence, Susan. So I think you're on the right path. Now, it really didn't matter because her grandmother joined the DAR like 60 years ago. So yeah. So, I mean, that you're going to have to redo all that work anyway. It gives you a good roadmap. But if it's one of those applications that doesn't list the locations and just the dates, then I mean, you pretty much are going to have to be starting over anyway.
Mhm.
So that's what I've got to offer. Does anybody else have any ideas on what to do when you can't find?
You went through the descendants, correct? Not just members'
Right.
names.
I
yeah,
Okay.
started, I
Because
treated her
sometimes
just,
people forget about that, and that's why I asked.
no, that's a
yeah.
good point. I treat her
No,
just like
I
any
always
other
do the
new one.
descendants. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was looking for any crumbs I could get, and she gave me nothing. I mean, not even to know the name of the ancestor and to know
Mm.
an aunt that,
Mm.
in another state. It's tough.
The,
I had one like that a couple weeks ago where she insisted that her sister was a member somewhere up north. And like my mom is a registrar, so she kept like looking in the descendants and in the member database and she couldn't find her. And so finally she called her sister and she'd never officially joined. She like
oh,
moved when she was about to submit the application, but her sister still has all the research. So she's like mailing it to her. But that was the confusion in their case.
Juliana, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the ones that I'm working on right now also was listed in the paper as being a DAR. And at the time, I didn't have image access, and I thought I had found her number, and then I could never find it again. And once I got into the research, the information I had been given was not the same patriot as the grandmother went through. And when I spoke to the prospective member, she was disappointed it wasn't going through her grandmother. So I've been for the last 3 days working very hard to go through her line. And she's the reason it's redlined, and the reason it is the generation under the Patriot is incorrect and only partially filled out. And I think it was a guess. I found just a little while ago a possible another child, but I haven't been able to prove that yet. And then there's another Patriot. I found a Patriot that has not been proven yet, had a fabulous pension record, had a daughter by the correct name, but with her married name and not a maiden name, and named siblings. It was a fantastic pension record. But I don't think she is the right daughters is it, where I'm the brick wall I've hit. I don't think we're going to that daughter of that Patriot, because I can't find anything that shows. I found a potential husband for her, but then it didn't make sense because that particular person they were still married while the other family was still married. So that's, it's time to let that one go.
You're weeding it out though. That's
So, and I kind of was hoping, because I only found one child, I was hoping that I could find that she had been married when she was young, and when the father died, she was still pretty young, and then she remarried. But I can't find that. I can't prove it. And I can't find a second marriage. Can't find anything about the lineage that I have proven that I'm comfortable with.
what state are you working in, Clay?
New York.
Okay. They don't have bad records.
Oh, they got good records. Yeah, they got real good records. They just don't have anybody with the name that I'm looking for.
All right, going back on track. Thank you guys. Jennifer,
Yes.
as our newest assigned volunteer genealogist, have you connected, and how are things going?
I have. The regent has contacted me, and she has 3, including herself, that want to work on supplementals. One has already sent me information, and I have completed her 2, but one of them was way too easy. It was, a father-son,
Okay.
and all I had to link was the family.
But Jennifer, you say
It was
that's too
there.
easy, but these girls don't understand. And why
Well,
I get
for
excited
me,
about
it was not,
it wasn't just a
like
paperwork
Clay's
shuffle. Yes.
she's digging, and I love to dig into Clay. So I like
Yeah.
to walk that path
But what
and
I'm
figure it
saying is,
out. To me, that's when I go, yeah. So,
bye, Libby. Libby's leaving us. Bye-bye. Um, But
so,
that's why I'm so excited about what you're doing, is that you're working with members, because Jennifer's assignment actually is they've got a registrar. She's not as strong as she would like to be, their current registrar. With this new volunteer genealogist contest, as far as, submitting supplemental applications, a chapter's like, oh, could we have some help? Because we've got lots of supplementals, but our registrar just doesn't have energy or time. And so that was kind of Jennifer's assignment, was to go and why I'm emphasizing this right now is, yes, Jennifer, there are so many supplementals out there that all you have to do is link to the next generation who's already known. But these girls have never done this. They've never seen the paper in front of them. And once they get to see that paper in front of them, it opens the door to a new world that they probably didn't do their own application.
yeah. And I think that's probably the thing, is that a lot of people their registrar did it for them, you know.
which I
Um,
endorse, but
yeah,
it does mean that by doing these supplementals, it gives us an opportunity to let the members get involved in some of the research.
and get the practice. I think that really helps.
Even though you're going in, to help them with that and to
Right.
maybe do the deep research, they still have to see it. They still have, as a new member, we never, oh, look at this pile of papers. Okay, I'll sign here, you know. And a lot of members never got a copy of their application and all the supporting documents that went with it. So this way they get to touch it themselves. So
Yeah, it does. And the second one I did for the same person, she just went, there was an paper, she was with the daughter instead of the son, but on the parents it listed in the 1850 census, she was there right after the son. So
oh,
it was sort of a no brain, it was sort of easy. And then there was an obituary that had the daughter, the son, and his parents. So it had all three generations in an obituary. So that's why that one was I haven't I like the challenges, but just teaching them how they can those connections, and that proves. And my biggest thing is I want to send enough documentation, but I don't want to send too much. And I think you still have to go back and forth about making sure I have all the proof we need,
right.
even though I think it's enough. I just want to make sure it's enough.
And I vacillate on, oh, this one document gives his middle initial when I can't find it anywhere else.
Right. And nicknames instead of like Georgiana, it's Georgia, you know,
Yeah.
and it's the wife of the husband and his name's right there and her children are listed. It's just like, you know,
That
the
is
fun
funny.
part of genealogy.
And I know sometimes doing those simple applications, even if it's just picking up an obituary that connect it all together, it almost feels administrative, like a secretarial job, just to make sure all the
But
stuff's
we're
together.
refining our skills too.
Right.
Every time, you
Absolutely.
do that to go find find that other child. How do you prove, to find it, the documentation. So I feel like it helps refine my skills. So
Yeah.
it's beneficial in its own way.
Laureen, you got your hand up.
Yeah, I can't see that I do, but I did. Um, so can you like put an asterisk on, let's say you had an extra document that had the middle initial. Is it Cricket? Is it okay, like just to put an asterisk on that when you submit it with the other documents and say this shows the initial, or you can write a note to the people that are looking at it?
There's nothing wrong with communicating with the genies.
Yeah,
I mean,
just
I don't, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. I know Barbara Jers writes notes all along the margins and they love her for it. I just don't. So I'm not encouraging it, but if there's a reason for it, I don't think there's ever anything wrong with that.
don't know whether to submit a document you think that it might be of value, then if a way around it might just be to put the
Yeah.
asterisk on.
That wouldn't be a bad idea. I would still underline, here's the other thing
Oh,
though.
yeah.
Not,
Yeah.
but if all I'm needing that one document for is the middle initial, there's going to be other things on that document. Underline everything that hits the application, even if it conflicts with other pieces
Yeah.
of evidence or supporting documents that you're submitting. But yeah, let them figure out those conflicts, and they're good at it.
If they want to toss it out, they can toss it out.
Well, and there's ways to weigh the evidence. And one of these days, maybe we can talk about that, which is a really good segue. But let me throw this commercial spot in here for a second. And that is, we said we were going to talk with the assigned volunteer genealogist, and then there was an important announcement. Now, I am so glad Jennifer is here because there was one meeting that I call the conversion of Susan and Susan Faulkner. And I was so against eApps. Guys, I have not taken all the genealogical courses because I've not taken mid-level reviewer because I was throwing a temper tantrum that I didn't want anything to do with eApps. And it was through one of these meetings that Jennifer explained in just discussion format, like what we usually do, about what she liked about him. And I'm listening, going, well, goodness gracious, I do all of that work just like she's talking about. And then I print it out and I put it in an envelope when what she's saying is I can just at my computer send it to National. And so about that time, they took eApps down.
No.
I don't know if any of you are following this eApps.
I am. I'm very sad.
I know, Jennifer. So
I'm
they took
not.
it down. When did they take it down? I think July was like the
Oh,
dead
that was
date.
July 3rd. But see, we're not even gonna get it. We just got
Well, I
that
haven't got
email.
that far yet. Don't spoil
Uh,
it. It doesn't matter. But
Or-
they were telling us that we would be expecting to test it, and both Jennifer and I put our names in, like we want to test it. Jennifer has got a lot of experience. I've never done one, but I was like, I really want to see what this is going to do, you know. Well, we were told yesterday that we are not going to have it released. Oh, that's the other thing I heard is that once eApps came out, that they were going to make us do all supplemental applications
mhm.
using eApp. Now, that was a rumor, but a worthy one, you know, because now, Jennifer, could we do supplementals using eApp before? We couldn't, could we?
No, you cannot.
Okay, so that was going to be a big game changer. Well, now we received an email from our new Registrar General, and I
Mhm.
could read it to you if you want, but really what it's saying is that they got to the due date of this project because they hired an outside vendor and they were not happy with the results that they got. So pretty much it's getting thrown in the trash can and they're starting again. Now, I don't have a lot of answers to questions that I even have, but I will tell you that that was not an easy decision to be on that decision-making group. You know, that would not be an easy conversation to have with the vendor who didn't perform. And I really have a hard time thinking that our national society, they're very savvy women, that they are not going to recoup expenses. You know, I mean, that they
Yeah.
were, you know, it's not like we bought something and we're walking away without anything. I think we bought something and we took our money back and now that's speculation, but I truly believe that. So they are going out and looking for new vendors. We're going to be a little while. So
Well, it'll be another year at least, I'm sure. I
I'm
mean,
really
I would be surprised. I just can't believe they didn't pilot it in-house more before they shut down the old one.
that they didn't do what?
You know, this new one they were trying to transition to,
Yeah.
there should have been a tandem piloting going on
Oh, I see what
between
you're
the new
saying.
software and the old that,
Hi,
you
Julietta.
know,
Yeah,
uh,
but maybe they never got to the point. I don't know why they completely shut it down, but
before they had that other one at least working a little bit. But I've worked in computers for a long time, so that's where I'm coming from. So,
all I know is that we don't have to worry about it for a while.
yep.
And that's another good segue. We were waiting for the eApps to come out and showcasing Jennifer's training background and Jennifer's computer background and Jennifer's eApp background so that she could give us, you know, as soon as it came out, it was going to come out with some training material. And Jennifer and I talked about how she would eat it up and then she would do a Zoom meeting to explain it, to showcase it, to give us examples and you know, screens and all that, and show us it live. And well, we're not going to do that, but not right now. We have to wait. But in July, we did the technical tips and tricks, and it was very well received. And so I would like to do another mini conference. Now, I'm going to put this out here and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but I am looking for new faces for this one instead of, I know we've got some very intelligent, very well trained genealogists within our state. So I want to kind of go around and pull them all in instead of just using 3 or 4 very powerful genealogists that we've got. And Susan Dobbs and I have been sharing some emails, And what was newspapers? Is that what
Y-
it?
Using newspapers and genealogy, and that includes Chronicling America. It includes Genealogy Bank, newspapers.com. There's a lot of different sites that you can use. It's not it's not an ancestry or family search. There's a lot of other
It's easy to
places to
get
find.
stuck in those two planets.
Yeah.
Um, I like that idea and I'd like to incorporate it. What other ideas do you guys have? What do we need? And who's got it? I know we need, and I don't got it. And I don't know if anybody's got it. There might be, but artificial intelligence training, like Chat GPT. I've been listening to a lot of videos by Stephen Little on YouTube, and he's the one that came to the GRI and spoke to us about artificial intelligence. Well, I'll tell you what, he's a wonderful man to listen to, but I still have yet to put keystrokes to a lot of what I've been listening to. So if we could find somebody that could just talk to us about generic how to use AI, maybe not even for genealogy, just very basic beginners, I think that would be, yeah, Susan.
Lisa Louise Cook, who does
Yeah.
Genealogy Gems.
Uh-huh.
She supports society, she calls it, but she is letting us. I had watched one of her 15-minute webinars, and it was talking about the full text search that's part of
Mhm.
Family Search. And one of my speakers for my large genealogy group that I'm the co-chair of, I asked her and we got permission for us to show that within context of something because she has a lot of things out there. So, and I've met her in person several times. So if you, her website is Genealogy Gems, and she has lots of podcasts that are out there.
She does, yeah. She's been around for a while.
Yeah, and she explains things really well. And at the South Carolina Genealogical Society, their annual conference in Columbia, uh, just this past summer, she
Right.
spoke at it again, and I had seen her there a few years ago as well. So if we just say, what we're doing and stuff, she might let us use one of her,
And that's
and
not a
she
bad
explains
idea.
things really well.
I would really rather find somebody in the state that we could interact with on a regular basis about any of these topics. So,
Okay.
Clay and Jennifer, the last time we had a mini conference for both speakers, and they're approachable by other South Carolina DAR members, should there be a question or, you know, um, I'm not against your idea, but I would still like to find somebody more inside the state that can be our kind of go-to person. Juliana, sweetie, you're of that younger generation. And a lot of times, the reason I'm saying this is that the younger generation is quicker to embrace change and new ideas.
I'm familiar with ChatGPT. I've just never used it in genealogy research. I use it for other things. So if it was something like basics of how to use it and how to word things, and then like I could experiment with using it with genealogy,
Would you
like
be willing to do that?
yeah, I would be willing to.
Boy, that was easy. Thank you. Love you. I was thinking about that while um, I've been trying to take walks around here and just listening to Steve Little. And I was like, I reflect back on when the internet came out and there was so much fear. Big Brother's watching you you know, and now we're embracing it and we might have an edge about us if we're that way, or we just realize it's part of life. And I think with all of this artificial intelligence, we could talk about it here. I don't want to use this for any of the workshop ideas, but there's a culture, there's morals, of course. And that's one thing that he really pounds on as far as um, using the right code of ethics
Hmm.
when it comes to, it's a big deal. And when it comes to using AI, he's like, it's never okay to source Chat GPT.
Yeah,
Never.
it's been like you have to be careful with it because sometimes it'll just like make things up. It's been known to do that, but it's also really incredible what it can do. Like one of my friends is in grad school and she codes in R and she can plug in her code into ChatGPT and it's free and it'll like spot any errors that she has in her like data and in her coding and like tell her what to fix.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, that's very
One thing
neat.
That would be something really interesting to learn a little bit more about.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying maybe instead of using AI in genealogy, maybe just very basic. And that's
Hmm.
why I'd like you to look at that, Juliana. And by all means, maybe for examples or whatever, you could just do baby step genealogy. You know how to do
Yeah.
that, you
Yeah.
know. So
One of the webinars I was on this past week was talking about Chat GPT and doing social histories. And it said, for example, tell me what life was like in such and such small town, and it gave a decade. And then it came out with the information. And so you could, here again, you're telling a story. But that was one of the ways. And it said you can ask for it in a genealogical perspective or
I think it's, let me see if if I've kept this. My husband did a pic. He's not an artist. He's an engineer. Let's see. He did a picture of, I'm talking about playing with dead people. And I told him sometimes it's hard to get the right graphics for postings that I want to do on Facebook. And so he made one for me. Let me see if I can find it. No, I can't. I'd have to dig too deep for and be distracted from the meeting. But he just put in Copilot, which is just Microsoft. It's not even one of the AIs that you hear anything about. And he said, paint me a picture of a woman in a flowing dress running after skeletons. Like,
Mhm.
and it turned out to be a pretty cool picture, but and this is a guy that's just not even computer geeky, that he's curious enough just to do something like that though, and it worked. So there's a lot of fun little things. One thing I would really like to know, Juliana, where I get overwhelmed is the pricing. Everybody says it's free, but then I hear for the 30 attempts or 4 pictures or 200 hours or
I've never paid for ChatGPT or anything like, and I have an account because if you log in, like it'll remember you, like if you use the same account. Um, because it was like a trend at some point where it was like ask your ChatGPT to like describe you based on what you put in there, and it'll like spit out a thing like based on what it has learned about you based on your
that could be interesting. I'd like to
request.
know what they think of me.
Um, but I've never paid. I know like some of the other ones, like I do our chapter newsletter and I use like Canva for it, and there's some plugins that you can like use to generate like graphics, and some of them you have to like pay for, and it's like I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna use like a free graphic instead of paying for an
Right.
AI one. So it really just depends on where you look.
I guess my only experience where I put keystrokes to any kind of chat GPT was within chat GPT, and I was asking chat GPT to help me design a poster for Fall Forum. And
Yeah.
yeah, and so I really enjoyed the interface, how it was asking me questions and I was giving it answers. And then it's like, okay, you're out of tokens
Oh,
or
that's
some
weird.
or out of free attempts or whatever. And I was like, I was just getting interested in it. And so I've kind of
Yeah.
got, and I'm trying to get over it, got this attitude of, well, shoot, we were just getting started and now it's asking for money. And I keep hearing about it being free. So, Julianne, I need your help there.
It might have been because it was an image, like
Maybe.
like a poster. I'll have to look into that. I'm going to look at it right now.
Okay. Cool. So, any other topics? We're gonna have Juliana doing, just basics, artificial intelligence, and then Susan doing newspaper research using newspapers in genealogy. What other topics are there an interest in having in this mini conference? What we're looking at, to let you know, Juliana, since Susan and I've already kind of shared information, is just about 20 minutes because they're going to be half-hour segments, but by the time you get started, 20 minutes, a few questions. It's actually only 25 minutes because you got to bail so that we can load up the next one. And I'm very busy on this end of it, but it was a lot of fun for me because I got to actually just do the busy instead of doing both, and it was very active and quick. So I'd like to do 4, which would be another 2-hour grouping again.
Okay.
But I need more ideas. What do you guys want? I mean, we could do something like the basics of build an app. Do you think that's needed?
I think that is needed. I think especially because there's so many like potential members right now because of the 250. And there's new registrars and everything, and there's always going to be a learning curve.
Yes.
But just having an influx of PMs and making sure that the registrars that are out there know this is what's going to make it faster and easier,
Mhm.
not only for you, but for the like office at National. So
Because I mean, I'm putting together a presentation, doing a workshop in Hilton Head, October 4th. And we're doing my presentation, and I've been given 45 minutes for it. I'm going to try to, people don't want to sit there for 45 minutes, so I'm going to try to make it a little shorter. But how many ancestors can I possibly have, and how do I get them in, go through the GRS to see if they're already known by the DAR? And then I'm tapping at Build an App. That's a lot to cover in that 45 minutes. Then Donna Eisen, she's another one of our assigned volunteer genealogists. She's going to be explaining the application form and then explaining the difference between information or evidence and supporting documents, meaning you guys all know that you don't have to have a death certificate if you've got a well-written obituary, even in the first 3 generations. They prefer it, but if you've got that dynamite obituary that's got all that information, you are not required to have a death certificate. And so that's just a very basic, sorry. I'm on call. You know, I'm here helping a friend. So I'm like, she texts, I have to run, but I think she'll be fine. That's just a very basic example, but there's all kinds of others. So she's going to be covering that. And then Colleen Knights is coming out, and she's getting to be quite the family search guru. Oh my goodness, that girl's just living in that planet, you know. And she's going to be showing some basics on how to use family search, full text search. And so this is really geared towards beginners. You can tell with the kind of what we're doing, but there's a lot of chapters in that area that have never done a supplemental application. That's of concern to me because that means they're not connected to that idea. And research is not at the top of their mind. And right now with the 250, we need to help them get ready. So yes, build an app is something that we can do in a 20-minute segment. Thank you. Anything else? Okay, so, and only, Saturday I'm going to have a new group. You guys are all invited to join us there again, but maybe they've got some ideas too. Knowing that Juliana and Susan are going to be presenting at this mini conference, we need to look at schedules. Now, Susan, you've said that you are out.
The last week of September and the last day of October and the first week of November.
And the first week of November?
Yeah, 2 different trips.
Yeah. What about you, Juliana?
Mondays are usually pretty wide open for me, and then I'm not like doing any trips or anything.
Okay.
So,
Are you in school?
so I am working right now. So
Okay.
Mondays are normally off for me. And then like Saturdays. And if I had like, even if it was like during the rest of the week, I could like, if I had enough notice, I could get off, you know?
That's nice.
Yeah.
That is great. So, okay, that helps a lot. So Mondays and Saturdays are your better days. Susan, do you have a better day out of Monday or Saturday? Or Mondays and Saturdays good for you?
Monday.
Okay. What, you don't like the 9 a.m. Saturday call, Susan?
No. My husband makes me breakfast.
Oh,
So, and I have to walk the dog in the morning. So
Oh,
that's not my preferred time.
no. Not,
He makes me
not
a
to,
Southern breakfast. Thank you very much.
not to replace those goodies.
Oh,
We see where we fall on your list of priorities. Well, great, guys. Those were the important things I wanted to share. Does anybody else have questions, ideas, thoughts? Wow.
yeah. Can you give us more heads up notice? I had an appointment to do intake with somebody today at this time, and I had to cancel it because this has been very helpful to me.
Susan, I'm sorry. My
yeah.
schedules got kind of wonky. I had to go on the other side of the state to take care of a friend that just had major surgery, and my mind was a little off
Okay. Just a date.
schedule.
Yeah.
So
Just a
I
date.
usually would, as you can see, I'm outside. We've got the airplane going.
So pretty. So pretty out
It
there.
is nice.
Very
It's
pretty.
beautiful, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, this one, I was like, oh shoot, I got to put together a meeting. I mean, when you're living underneath somebody else's roof 24/7 and tending to somebody that's needing help, you're not thinking Zoom calls or,
Right.
Right.
I do have one thing to share that's new and
Okay.
different. If anybody's in the Charleston area on Saturday, October 18th, from 9 to 3, they hold every year a genealogy workshop, and it's sponsored by the Charleston LDS Church, but it's free, and they even feed us lunch.
I was gonna say
And
Wow.
they have
those LDS sponsored ones are usually pretty nice because of things like that, and then they also get a lot of family search in there because
They do,
yeah.
but not all of it. I mean, you talked about AI. One of the speakers last year did talk on AI. Another one talked about DNA. I mean, they have a lot. Charleston has a lot of very smart people,
Mhm.
and I am a member of the Charleston Genealogical Society, and they have some wonderful speakers. And I usually take a carload of people to go over there. You do have to pre-register. That's the only thing. So I haven't gotten my flyer yet on it, just the date, but it's worth the time if you're in commuting distance to that.
That's good to know. Send me that, or could you send me a little email on that?
Yeah.
That'd be great. That'd be wonderful. And I keep telling the registrars, I mean, I know some of you are registrars, but I've sent out an email saying I'll send you information as I find it important. Well, this thing about the eApps already went out to all of the registrars, so I don't need to repeat that to them. But I wouldn't mind sharing the information on this conference if you don't mind sending it to me, Susan.
Yeah,
Anything
I
we
don't
could
have
do
the
to
brochure yet to know what the topics are, and they will send that out. So would you prefer to have more information in it?
probably,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, and if you want to share that with me, I'll share it with all the state registrars.
Yeah, the lady who's organizing it has a little dementia problem also.
Mhm.
Well, as long as she doesn't forget to get it done, like me,
Mhm.
I can't
No, her
even blame
husband stays
dementia
on her.
yet.
Yeah,
So, well,
but it's
thank you for
actually very
sharing.
good.
Those things, going to those conferences is just good stuff.
But free, and they feed you a free
Yeah.
lunch. That's pretty
Those are
sweet.
the best types. I'm sure they've got to have a number limit. I mean, the first,
They do. That's why you have to do a reservation, but they haven't sent that flyer out with that
right.
registration information. So they're going to have the monthly meeting this Sunday. So I imagine I'll get information at the
Mhm.
Charleston Genealogical Society meeting then.
All right. Thank you. Well, I hate to cut the meeting so short, but unless there's anything else you guys want to share or talk about,
I can't
I
think of
really
anything.
appreciate you guys being here today, though, because we covered a lot of good stuff.
So you don't know next month's date yet?
Yes, it's always the third Tuesday and the third Saturday.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
The third Tuesday is always at 2 o'clock, and the third Saturday is always at 9 a.m. But you'll be busy.
I'll come. Maybe a little late, but I'll come.
That's why Jennifer, bless her heart, I mean that. She texted me just like 5-10 minutes before the meeting, and she goes, I never got the meeting notification. And before you joined us, Susan, I was looking at the email list and her name's not on it. So I mean,
Mine wasn't last month, so
right. Yeah, that got kind of awkward.
Yeah.
So yeah, I appreciated her saying, hello, where's my notification? It's on its way, so. But you are on the list too, Susan.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
And thank you, my assigned volunteer genealogists. I mean, that is just, it makes my heart just proud. Usually, the previous volunteer genealogist committees for the last two administrations waited until a chapter was in dire straits, and then they would have to have their region as the state region. Well, we've got a lot more leeway now to where I can go out and interact. You guys could go out and interact and say, hey, there's a tool out there for you. You don't have to feel all alone. You don't have to feel frustrated. And so we're using it and it's working. And I'm liking that a lot. So thank you girls for being here. Thank all of you guys for coming. I think that we've had a very successful meeting. We actually got some dates put together or ideas of them, and we'll get it wrapped up on Saturday and do another mini conference. Those are fun.
Very good.
All right.
That's good.
All right. We'll see you
All right,
Saturday if we make
bye.
it. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.